start practice?
Well, it feels like we've been practicing for about 2 years, so I don't know. That's really the benefit of the trip to Italy, is the fact that we have had an opportunity to spend a lot of time together as a new group. And, when people ask me the best part about the trip, it really was the bonding time that our players had. We don't have anybody that played together on the floor in an actual game last year. Thor and Burke played a little bit, but Burke had a sit-out year last season. So, the fact that our guys got to spend all that quality time with each other during that trip was as important as anything, probably way more important than the X's and O's. And, we're still in the very basic stages of putting in our system, but now we get the opportunity to grow that. And the fact that we don't have as much time restraints, we're 4 hours a week right now. We move up to the 20 hours. Officially, we can start tomorrow. We're going to have tomorrow as one of our off days. We have to take 12 off days in 42 days, and then we'll get after it on Wednesday morning, leading into our opening night event on Friday, which I'm really excited about. But the fact that we get extended time with our players now to really start growing our system is what I'm most excited about.
As you had the Italy trip, I know you had the program, off-season workout thing with the guys. How much progress do you think you guys have made in a short amount of time of becoming a team?
Yeah, to have everything that we've had so far with all the new players, it's all part of it. And I have seen tremendous growth with chemistry. And when we were first together, it was everybody kind of off individually trying to figure each other out. The fun thing now is you see their personalities starting to come out, and you see the guys getting more comfortable with each other as we move forward. Having what we experienced the last couple days, as far as being a better teammate, as far as how body language affects the team, as far as discipline and accountability, there's a lot of things that we've really been working on with this group of new players. So, we still got a long ways to go. There's no doubt about that, but, I feel pretty good going into the season here on Wednesday.
Were you ever concerned that the team had not bonding in the way you were hoping for, having to start being pretty solid?
Yeah, I think you always have those concerns with any team, especially when you have the amount of new faces that we have with our team this year. And, if we had, 10 of our 13 guys back, obviously you can start further ahead in the game. But we've really had to stay at the lower level, at the basic level, really since we started on day one. And we're not ready to go up to level 2 quite yet. So, it's really just trying to, since we've been back from the Italy trip, we went back and watched all the games, and how do we correct the mistakes that we were making, and how do we become a more consistent group. Now the fact that we get to start on Wednesday with the 20 hours, we'll be able to spend a lot more time with them. We'll be able to have individual film sessions with our guys to really address the things that we feel we need to grow at. And, again, we're a lot better than we were on day one, but we still have a long ways to go.
Do you feel like you can reach that theoretical second level by game one?
I hope so, Chris. The thing with, again, with our guys right now, with the way it is, they are picking things up, but then we'll have 3 days off, and then you get back in the gym, and they forgot everything you worked on the week before. So, the fact that we're going to be able to have more consistent practices should help in a big way towards that. And we're starting to make better reads. We're starting to figure out when the defense plays you a certain way, when to take a lane to the basket, when to run out of a screen as opposed to popping your feet and setting it. When a guy goes under, the automatic rescreen, that needs to become second nature, and right now it's not. So once we're able to get more consistent days put together, that should definitely help.
Ivan, he was the last to join the group. How is he acclimated with the rest of the team? What do you see from him?
Yeah, Ivan's pissing people off because he sets screens. I mean, he'll just go, it's like running into a brick wall with him. And, one thing I think sometimes we forget with Ivan, because of how mature his body is he's only 17 years old. And, he's still at times dropping the ball when he gets a dump off at the rim, or bringing it down and trying to bounce it before he goes up, and it gets stripped from him. And that's all part of the game. It's faster over here than what he's ever experienced. But he's got the body. There's no doubt about that. He's got length. The crazy thing to me is his kid's never really lifted a weight in his life, and he's 6'8", and every bit of 265. So he's got a great foundation, and now it's just about continuing to develop him and continuing, to teach the basics of the game. But, he's got a Big Ten ready body right now, and we got a lot to work with Ivan.
What about Cam at Mac? What have you seen from him?
Yeah, Cam's getting better every day. He had the illness to where it took him a while really just to get in basketball shape. Now he's starting to pick up his pace. His pace is becoming much more consistent. I think a big reason for that is the fact that he's getting himself in the type of conditioning that he needs to be in to play at that consistent level. But both Cam and Ivan, based on what we did with those 10 practices and, a week when we got back, it's going to take them a while to learn everything that we put in. But, Cam's got things that you just can't teach, and most of that comes from his speed and quickness.
And when it comes to player leadership, over the course of some of those off-season things, did you see some guys emerge as some of those vocal leaders that maybe rally guys around?
Yeah, I think the guy that has been terrific in the leadership area is Hanif. He's and he should. He's been in it longer than anybody else, going into his 5th year, playing in 2 programs, very good programs. So he is going to be a guy that we lean on and rely on for that consistent leadership, and he's done a really good job of that. I'll say this about leadership: we've got a lot of guys when things are going well, they're really good leaders. But as soon as that adversity hits, or we have something tough happen on the court, or shots not going in, that's when things drop. And, we talk about being a front runner. Things are easy when things are going great, but when times get tough, you got to find a way to fight through that. And we're still battling that with our group. But I would say as far as leadership, I think Hanif has been the most consistent.
When you're putting your roster together in the offseason, are you looking for a guy like him to kind of be that glue guy for a roster?
Yeah, Hanif's been great. A guy like Derek Walker, who won't play this year, but Derek has played at a high level. He's played in the NCAA tournament. We've only got 2 guys that have played in the NCAA tournament, Hanif and Derek, and only one will be eligible this year. But, to have guys that are a little bit weathered as far as having some opportunities to play for great coaches, to be able to lean on those guys to help our younger players get through those tough times is very important.
How do you stay patient?
God, I don't know. That's a great question. I think we just have to continue to remind ourselves with all the new faces that we have. We don't have a lot of production coming back from last year's group. And what we want to see our guys go out and play together and play with great effort every time they step on the floor. And if we do that, you can live with the results. If you go out and take the necessary steps and get better on a daily basis, hopefully the results will take care of themselves. But we just want to continue to see progress every day. We took a step, I'll be honest with you, we didn't have a great practice today, this morning, and we need to learn from that. We have a little bit of time left, so we're watching individual film on exactly what we expect, and hopefully we'll be better on Wednesday when we kick this thing off.
Why was it important for you guys to make opening night motivation?
Well, it couldn't have turned out any better as far as, what we want to accomplish this weekend. We've got opening night. We've got game day coming to town. I was very fortunate. I was part of game day at Iowa State when I was coaching there when we played Kansas, I think back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And there's just so many things that it does for your program, for your fans. And we have a big recruiting weekend ahead, and they'll be able to see the facilities. They'll be able to see the support. They'll be able to see our team. And it really turned into a big event on all fronts, and for a very important weekend for us. So we're excited about it, and hopefully we can show them a good time.
Was it the date for an event like this? Was it picked more on just the timing of it, or for recruiting purposes, or with football, or what was kind of?
Yeah, and like I said, the timing couldn't have worked out any better. You're playing a top 5 team in football, and for us, it'll be our 3rd day of practice. We'll be able to work out some of the kinks heading into that. You got a very popular performer that has been up for many Grammys. Is that the word? Grammys, Emmys, whatever it is. So, but to have all that with the amount of recruits that we have coming in, turned out to be a really good thing for us.
What do you want to see out of your guys Friday? Is it about executing, or is it more about them kind of being able to have fun a little bit?
Well, no, it's not about executing. I've been part of a lot of these where you go out there and you have these open scrimmages. But I'll say this: for our guys to be able to get out and compete against our fans for our fans, not against our fans, for our fans, for the first time, it's good for them. You know, you're in a closed environment for most of the time. In Italy, we played in front of 12 people. Most of them were Luca's family. But, you know, we'll be able to get out in front of our fans for the first time and hopefully go out there and have some fun. We actually have a morning practice that day, so we'll hope to get most accomplished in the morning.
Through Twitter, we've got to see you and Doc kind of reconnect. I mean, what is it like? Did you get,
I can't compete with Doc on Twitter. I'm just gonna say that right now.
did you feel like you kind of picked up where you left off from Iowa State? How much has he helped you get acclimated to Lincoln?
Yeah, Doc's, that was such an important hire for me. You know, I love the staff that we put together, starting with Matt, you know, a guy that I brought on to Minnesota as an intern, and, you know, just immediately saw, you know, Matt's work ethic, his ability to build relationships, his ability to connect, you know, with all different types of people. You know, bringing Bobby Lutz back, Bobby was really my first hire at Iowa State, a guy that had a ton of experience. He's been great in a special assistant role, keeping Armand Gates on board, such a high-energy guy that is great in the floor with our guys, with the workouts, and then Doc coming back. And, you know, Doc has such a way, and, you know, it's pretty rare when a guy comes back to a place where they were once the head coach and has the type of popularity that he has. But he's great for me. You know, Doc's a guy that can really feel out a situation. If I'm depressed, he can make me laugh. And in this business, you have to have a guy like that. He's terrific on the floor. You know, defensively, he's always been one of the best defensive minds in basketball. So, I'm excited to have him with that as well. But I'm really excited about the staff we put together. Luca, who's in here right now, did an unbelievable job putting our Italy trip together. And has really done a good job with the organization. Buzzy Carruthers, who we just brought in as well, and in a player development role, has been awesome. So, you know, what I see with staff chemistry is so important to hopefully carry that over to your players. You know, we got to have that chemistry in order to expect that out of our guys, and we certainly haven't.
You guys submitted Shamil's waiver to the NCAA?
You know, I won't talk specifically on that. Obviously, you know, when you have a transfer like that, the waiver process is a big part of it. You know, we'll get more into that as we get more specifics.
You're obviously an offensive-minded guy, but defensively and rebounding, how much will you focus on that and think about that, considering you guys are pretty small?
Yeah, it's got to be, you know, I joked with Doc when I brought him here, I was going to give him 10 minutes every day defense, but we've worked a lot harder on defense to this point than offense, and a lot of that is because of our personnel. We're going to have to find a way to protect the paint. We don't have, you know, that guy in the back line that's going to be able to erase mistakes like a lot of teams do. So, you know, that's one thing Doc's teams have always done a great job of, is limiting paint touches. So we've worked on that. We're going to have to find a way to rebound. Our guards are going to have to do a really good job of getting in there and helping our bigs on the glass. So defense has been a big priority with everything we've got going. You know, now it's about meshing the two sides together if we want to have any chance to win.
Talent-wise, how did your evaluation of your team change, knowing what you guys were able to accomplish in Italy this summer?
Yeah, you know, I saw a lot of really good things, a lot of things I'm excited about, but I also saw some things that are concerning. But, you know, we got to find a way to be more consistent through good times and bad. We played a Lithuanian pro team over there, which was a good team. We played a second quarter where I think we outscored them 31-7 and had a 24-point lead after a tied score in the first. And, you know, we come out in the second half and we completely let our foot off the gas and, you know, allowed them to come back. We ended up winning that game by 3. So there's a lot of good lessons that we can have over there from good things we did and things we need to work on. But overall consistency is a big thing that we need to improve on heading into our season.
I don't know if there's a coach that's going to have 11 new scholarship players, and there's just a lot that you have to do. Is that stressful? Is that exciting? Like, how do you kind of approach it?
Yeah, I think there's some both in that, both sides of that, Chris. There is obviously a lot of excitement with the players we brought in, but there also is some frustration at times, just because we're constantly looking for those guys to go out there and play together every time they step on the floor. You know, understanding that we know there's going to be a learning curve, a greater learning curve with this group than a lot of teams that have a lot of production coming back. So, you know, again, it's just about, you know, every day stressing at film sessions. We watched a lot of film, even in these off-season workouts, on how we want to go out there and play. and we'll continue to do that, both individually and team film sessions.
Charlie Easley, from Pius X, was kind of a late addition to the team. What has he kind of done?
Yeah, Charlie's been great for us. He led us in school. It was actually a really cool thing. His grandparents were at our last game when we spent the day in Lake Como. His grandparents came to the game, and Charlie led us in scoring that night. It was a really cool thing for him to go out there and play that type of basketball. Charlie's a winner, and I think everybody in this room that saw Pius play last year understands what he can do. He's just a guy that will step up in whatever role you need him. He moves his feet well. He's in the right spot defensively, and obviously he shoots the heck out of the ball. So I've been really impressed with Charlie, and he's a guy that's getting reps for us right now. Obviously, we don't have our rotation set at this point, but we've been very pleased not only with Charlie but with Jace Piatkowski and also with Brett Porter. We've got 3 very high-quality walk-ons that will do a lot of good things for our program.
Coach Hoiberg? You be the speaker said there.
God, I don't think so.
Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.